Hey everyone, my name is Sean and in today's video I'm going to be showing you my Dinosaur deck profile. So let's get right to it. Why play Dinosaurs? Dinosaurs are a very powerful going second strategy. They are considered to be the definitive anti-combo deck strategy. Anytime you see a combo deck like Spiral dominate the format, people bring out Dinosaurs as a deck to just kind of trample over their opponents because this deck is just so very good at breaking boards and then doing a lot of damage in a single turn. So let's talk about this deck and talk about what it wants to do. In our first 5 monsters, we've got our 5 baby dinosaurs, 2 copies of baby Ceratosaurus and 3 copies of Petit Pteranodon. These cards are basically the same, they all have the very similar effect. Baby Ceratosaurus activates its effect when it is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard. You get to special summon a level 4 or lower dinosaur type monster from your deck to the field. Petit Pteranodon, on the other hand, summons a level 4 or higher dinosaur type monster from your deck, but that monster cannot attack this turn. This is the main strategy of your deck. You want to destroy your babies in order to get your bigger guys out faster and quicker. And there are many ways to be able to destroy your cards in this deck naturally. Do be aware that they are slightly different, but we play quite a high number of copies of these because they are basically our primary strategy for searching monsters out in the deck. We have 1 copy of Giant Rex. Giant Rex activates this effect when it is banished. So anytime you banish this card, it can summon itself back to the field and give itself an attack boost. This allows us to reuse it again and again for multiple purposes. So if you banish it from the graveyard, it summons itself to the field and then you've got a level 4 monster to go into a rank 4 play. Or alternatively, you can use it as a material to make for a link summon as well. It is also a big monster, but it cannot attack directly, so be aware of that when you're trying to do damage. This card cannot attack directly, so you want to attack a monster with this in order to put damage on the board. One of the best cards in the deck is Miscellaneousaurus, another level 4 monster. This card protects your cards from being affected by your opponent's card effects. You just discard it. This card is really awesome because it doesn't also only protect dinosaurs that are currently on the field. Anything you summon after this card's effect is activated is also unaffected by your opponent's card effects for this turn. So it really helps you set up your play before you go to the battle phase. Miscellaneousaurus also has a unique effect on the graveyard as well, and that is while it's in the graveyard, you can banish this card along with any other number of dinosaurs, and then up to that number of dinosaurs, you can summon a monster from your deck that is equal to the number of cards in terms of its level. So if you banish 2 dinosaurs, you summon a level 2 out, and this is another way to search out your baby dinosaurs primarily. You don't ever really get to banish more than that because you need to have cards in your graveyard to banish for other purposes, but it can occasionally be done so. Finally, we have our last level 4 monster, which is Soul Eating Oviraptor. This is our best starter card for the deck. In the TCG, normally you want to play this at 3, but unfortunately it's limited to 1, but there are still many ways to get to this card, and the way that I kind of cover not being able to have 3 of these is by playing many more baby dinosaurs than I normally would. In fact, I considered actually playing 6 at one point, but I found it to be a little bit too much because baby Ceratosaurus only summons level 4 lower monsters, so I thought okay, 5 is enough. But yeah, Soul Eating Oviraptor is great. When you normal or special summon this card, you add a dinosaur to your hand or send it to the graveyard. That can be very important sometimes if you just want to load up your graveyard with resources. And then it also has the effect where it can target a level 4 or lower dinosaur monster on the field, destroy it, then summon 1 back from your graveyard. This is a good way to trigger off your babies, but it can also be used in combination with Lost World to destroy a token card, and then you can actually destroy something from your deck, and then you can carry on summoning more monsters via that method. Onto the big monsters now. We have our level 7 and higher monsters. First we have Duelist and Pankratops. It's amazing, it's Pankratops, it still does so much. It is one of the best forms of removal in the game. You see people play this outside of dinosaur decks. It basically always gets you 2 cards for the price of 1. It's amazing, respect the Pank. We have 1 copy of Overtake's Duelist, I always say that wrong. And to summon this card is quite costly. To summon this card, you must shuffle in 5 of your banished dinosaur type monsters back into the main deck. However, we can also summon this card up with double evolution peel, so do not worry about its high summon cost. This card is worth using because once per turn, you can destroy a card to negate a spell or trap card effect, which is really nice, particularly when you want to counter certain strategies. And also, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add double evolution peel from your deck to your hand. So you can do things like activate Soul Eating Oviraptor, send this to the graveyard, get your peel, and then your peel can summon any other dinosaur monster to your field. Dogoron, the man playing Kaiju, we play in 2 in here. We have ways to search out Kaijus, like Cyber Dragons in this deck, and if you can play Kaijus in your main deck without it being a detriment to your deck, always play Kaijus. They just deal with so many problematic cards, particularly in Legacy of the Duelist, where people like to play certain boss monsters which cannot be affected by card effects. Just tribute over it and just move on with your life. Kaijus are always great. And yeah, this makes this deck so good at going second. These are not dinosaur monsters, these are worm monsters, but they are very vital to our strategy, and they are the True King Agnimancin the Vanisher and True King Livosigim, I don't know, Jimmy the Disaster. We have Agni and Jimmy, and Agni and Jimmy both have the same effect in that you can summon these cards to the field by destroying cards in your hand or on the field. And one of them must be at least fire for Agni, and one of them must be at least earth for Jimmy. For Agni, there are tons of fire monsters. Agni itself is a fire monster, so if you have multiple copies, you can destroy it. Dogoron's a fire monster, Miscellaneousaurus is a fire monster, Nightmare Phoenix is fire, and Evil Sars are fire as well, so you have tons of monsters you can destroy for that. Whereas for Jim, you have loads of earth, your babies are earth, which is perfect, your Giant Rex is earth, and your Bagooska's earth, so you got tons of targets to be able to summon these out. Now, while these cards are good to summon themselves out because they're big, you also do this because you want to destroy your own cards, and they also have added bonus effects which you don't always get to use, but if you do, they're really cool. Agni has the effect where if both of the monsters you destroy were fire, you can banish a monster on your opponent's field or graveyard. Great form of removal. It doesn't target, so it's really powerful, and yeah, it can just deal with certain cards that you don't want to deal with. Jimmy is really good for going first, where when you destroy 2 cards that are earth to summon it to the field, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and banish up to 3 monsters with different names. For certain deck strategies, this is just game over. You could just say, listen, GG, I win, because they are so dependent on their extra deck strategies. If I'm playing a deck like, I don't know, maybe like a sync or a spam deck, and I go first and I drop down Jim, I can look at his extra deck and say, okay, I want you to banish your Crystron Valkyrie Firebacks, your Aurora Dawn, and your Borrelord Savage Dragon. Good game, GG, Nori. And then, yeah, he's just really powerful for being able to do that. It's very unique. The final boss monster we have is Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. This is what makes Dinosaur so good. He does so much for 1 card. To summon it, you must banish 2 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard, so it's not hard to do as bring this guy out. He has 3,500 attack, which is amazing. Also, once per turn during either player's main phase, you can destroy 1 monster in your hand or the field, and if you do, you change all of your opponent's monsters to face down defense position. This is the way you deal with so many cards. You can just get rid of so many threats or turn off so many effects or interrupt plays just by turning their cards face down or not dealing with it. You can't turn down Link monsters, unfortunately, which made this card a little bit weaker over the years, but it's still 3,500 attack. You're going to deal with a lot of cards using this card. And that's not all, he has more effects. His second effect is that once per turn, have I missed it? You know, it's not. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, so yeah, more damage. And then at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks a defense position monster, you can deal 1,000 damage to your opponent and send it to the graveyard. This gets rid of cards that cannot be destroyed by a battle. Yeah, just send the card to the graveyard. He does so much damage in a single turn, and it's what makes or breaks this deck. For our spells, we have 2 copies of Double Evolution Peel. This card lets you summon a dinosaur monster from your deck. To do so, you must banish 1 dinosaur monster and 1 non-dinosaur monster. So you want to banish one of your True King cards, or anything that you summon from your edge deck and that's in your graveyard already to use this. And then you can summon any dinosaur from your deck, ignoring its summon conditions. So you can bring out your Ultimate Conductor, you can bring out Overtex, Dinosaur and Pancratops. bring out any of these to the deck, from your deck to the field, and yeah, go nuts. We play a lot of field spell. This is a field spell deck, so we play a lot of field spells and slot searchers. We have 1 copy of Diagram to destroy our cards and search out our true king monsters. 3 copies of Lost World. Some people find this card difficult to understand, and I'm not sure why, but I'll explain it very quickly. It reduces all attack of non-dinosaur monsters on the field by 500. And then when a dinosaur monster is summoned, once per turn, you give your opponent a token. And then that token, while your opponent controls a token, they cannot target anything on the field except tokens with effects, which is really cool because it protects your monsters from anything you don't want to deal with. Its second effect, or second part to this card, is that once per turn, if a normal monster on the field will be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can destroy that many dinosaur monsters from your hand or deck instead. So what this basically means, or how this works in action, is you play Lost World, you summon a dinosaur and they get a token. You then try to destroy your opponent's token by either battle or a card effect, and then instead of destroying it, you can keep it alive and destroy something from your deck. And ideally, you destroy one of your baby monsters. Then when your baby monster is destroyed, you get to summon another monster out. And that's basically how it works. I don't understand why people don't understand how this card works, but yeah, that's Lost World for you. We also play Mystic Mine because we're playing lots of field spells, so you may as well play Mystic Mine. And to go with that, we have our 3 field spells: Searchers, Set Rotation, Terraforming, and Metaverse. The final cards for our deck are Fossil Dig at 2 because we can't play 3 unfortunately, 1 copy of Foolish Burial, and 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance because we don't really need our extra deck to win, but it can help nonetheless. Now, I've deliberately taken out these last 4 cards here because this is our flex room for the deck. You can feel free to change this if you want to, but ideally with Dinosaurs you want to build it as a going second deck, and you want to play high impactful cards like Dark Ruler No More, Lightning Storm, or Evenly Match. So when you're going second, you can play through your opponent's interruptions and force out their negates, or just break their board, then summon out your big monsters, and then your opponent's going to struggle to deal with it. However, for Legacy of the Duelists, because you're playing single format almost all the time online ranked, it's very difficult to almost play exclusively going second cards, because if you are forced to go first, they become bricks in your hand. And things like Evenly Matched and Lightning Storm are difficult to use, where if your opponent forces you to go first, and then you want to say activate a field spell card, then you've got a face-up card on the field, and you can't activate these cards until they go or leave the field, which is really, really unfortunate. So normally I would play cards like these when I know I can guarantee I'm going second, but it's Legacy of the Duelists is hard to do so. So I'm going to give you some options. You can choose what you want to play. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here, but it's up to you. I strongly recommend as easy cards to play are Mind Control and Twin Twister. They're balanced, they're easy to use, they don't break really easily. Mind Control is so threatening going second, you can just take one of your opponent's cards. Twin Twister is a blowout card. It sends also cards to your graveyard, so it loads your graveyard with resources. So I recommend Mind Control and TT personally, but in case you don't want to do that, there's also Book of Eclipse, which has the same effect as the ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and you can set it so that when you're going first, you can use it during your opponent's turn. Dark Ruler No More, just mass spawn the gate. However, you can't do damage that turn, and that's kind of unfortunate sometimes, because sometimes you do just want to OTK your opponent, and you don't want to kind of grind, you just want to kind of kill them. Then there's also things like Raigeki, of course, which can just do the job of Lightning Storm and destroy all their opponent's monsters. It's up to you. I don't really know the answer to that, or what the right card is here, but yeah, I would say feel free to experiment with what you wish. So let's talk about the extra deck here. We don't rely on our extra deck here, but you can use it quite, you will go to your extra deck at least once, so we have some good monsters in here. We have Dueler, Digasto Emerald, I don't know why this is in here, I barely use it. Evil Swarm Exeter Knight to blow up the field. 2 copies of Dokar. This is probably our best rank for, because it's you can only use Dinosaurs to make it. It's a dragon monster because Konami has a dragon fetish when it comes to boss monsters. But this negates monster effects, so it can help you seal your OTK by making sure your opponent can activate something like Nibiru against you. Lagia is for spells and traps negates, or for summons, it can negate the summon. So Lagia is also good like Dokar, but it's not quite just as good. Baguska is amazing, one of the best cards in the game. Tugeres is insane. Combine this with something like Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, double his attack, so he's 7,000, attack all of your opponent's monsters, you're going to do a shit ton of damage. And then we have 1 copy of True King of All Calamities. We pay 4 level 9s, yep, 4 level 9s, so you can make True King sometimes. And this card is the ultimate end game ender. You declare an attribute. All monsters your opponent controls with that attribute cannot activate their effects or attack. It's basically a monster effect version of Mystic Mind for a turn. And yeah, you just say, okay, listen, I'm going to build my card. I'm going to put this card in the field. You pass for 1 turn, come to the next turn, and then you just kill them. Nightmare Phoenix is Nightmare Phoenix. Pentastag. Pentastag is really, really good in this deck. Respect Pentastag. This is another way, along with Duelist, where you can use Ultimate Conductor Tyranno to kind of OTK your opponent. If they have a ton of monsters in defense, which is possible because you're playing Tyranno, you can put Pentastag on the field. Make sure it points to the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and then Tyranno can attack every single one of your opponent's monsters and deal piercing damage to them. And with 3,500 attack, you're likely to do a ton of damage to them as well. So yeah, respect Pentastag. Unicorn is Unicorn. Appaloosa, I've never summoned Appaloosa to be honest with you. Borrowload and Borrowsword, I've never really summoned them. So feel free to change them if you want to. But yeah, this is Dinosaurs. I think we've talked long enough. Let's get into some gameplay and show you how they work in action. Alright, so here we are in a game, and I deliberately chose this game because in this game I am being forced to go first as opposed to go in second, which is more what Dinosaurs want to do. And that's because we open cards like Kaijus, where I can't use my Kaiju without a monster to tribute over, or summon it without really the way I want to use it. So really this deck likes to go first, but it is likes to go second, sorry, but it isn't the end of the world. We can still make it play. You just gotta be smart about the way you do it. Now, I know nothing about my opponent. I noticed that he's playing a 13 card extra deck though, which is a bit bizarre, but it doesn't really give me a clue as to what he's playing necessarily. So I'm gonna have to try and just set up a defensive play as best I can, and try to just dig through my deck a little bit deeper at this point. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set to the field our copy of Baby Cerosaurus, and we're going to put that in defense position, because if my opponent destroys it with a card effect, then he will get to trigger. Not very likely that it will happen, but, you know, wishful thinking. And then we're going to activate Mystic Mind, and at this point we're just going to really pass to my opponent. Mystic Mind is such a powerful card. It's one which I think that players should always be prepared for. And so if you don't know how it works, but you should, because I kind of use it quite a lot in my videos, but if you don't know how it works, while any player controls more monsters than the other, that player cannot activate monster effects or declare attacks. Now, right now, we both have the same number of monsters, so he has normal summon Manju of the 10,000 hands to search out a ritual spell card from his deck, and he's going to be able to activate that because we have the same number of monsters. He now uses Advanced Ritual Art to bring out Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, and he's now going to go to the battle phase. Because he hasn't read my cards, he hasn't realised he can't attack now because he now has 2 monsters and I have 1 monster. If it was only Chaos Max in the field, this would have been really bad for me, because Chaos Max does piercing damage and also double damage, so that would have done, I think, what, 7,000 damage to me? 8,000 times 2, take away about 100, I don't know. Yeah, so 4,000 times 2 is 8,000, and yeah, whatever. It would have been really bad, but because he's got 2 monsters on the field, you know, he can't attack. So we know he's not reading cards, so we're going to take advantage of that. And now I'm going to activate Fossil Dig. Fossil Dig is a rotor for the deck. It lets us get any level 6 or lower dinosaur monster from our deck to our hand. And so we are going to go out and search our copy of Soul Eating Oviraptor. Always want to get to Oviraptor as soon as you can, because it's the best searcher for your deck. And now I've got to kind of consider how I want to play. I'm going to be able to get to some of my boss monsters. Ideally, I want to get to Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, but Mystic Mind's in play. So I've got to be able to play around my own field spell card. And really, there isn't a way which I'm going to do that without giving my opponent the chance to then summon more monsters and actually attack over me. So what we're going to do is play Foolish Burial, send Overtex Quartalus to the graveyard, and then we're going to add double evolution peel from our deck to our hand, and so that gives us access to our to any one of our big dinosaur monsters from our graveyard, from our deck. Can't use it yet because we need a non-dinosaur monster in the grave to use it. But now we're going to normal summon Soul Eating Oviraptor and activate his effect to search out a dinosaur monster from our deck, and we're going to go search out our big boy Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Now, like I said, I could summon Tyranno right now, however, that would put me on 3 monsters, and he would be on 2, which is what we don't really want to do. So what we are going to do before we end this turn is I'm going to now go and flip over Baby Ceratosaurus. I want to get him off the field because there's no real need to have him on the field right now. I could have actually used Oviraptor's effect now that I'm thinking about it. I could have used Oviraptor's effect to destroy Baby Ceratosaurus, but that would have just given me more monsters to the field, and that's what I'm trying to avoid right now. I'm trying to reduce my monster count. So I'm not even going to attack into his Manju. I'm just going to pass my battle phase and go to main phase 2. And then I'm going to actually just say, in case my opponent finds a way to get rid of Mystic Mine, I'm going to get rid of Blue Eyes Chaos Max because he is a big boy indeed. And this is one thing that's so much fun to play with a dinosaur deck. Because you can main deck Kaijus, you just say, listen, I don't care what boss monster you have, mate. If you don't kill me, I'm getting rid of it. It's gone, it's done. You've wasted your resources. And yeah, that's what dinosaurs are all about. They just say, yo, I don't care about your boss monsters. My boss monsters are better than your boss monsters. Just get rid of it. So in Lalio's turn here, he plays Trade In, discarding another Chaos Max. I'm like, that's cool. That's 2 Chaos Max in the grave, so he only really has 1 more left for me to worry about. He draws into 2 more cards. And now he plays Return of the Dragon Lord, one of the best Monster Reborn style cards in the game. It is only for dragons, but it is a very powerful card because it gives that card protection. And he summons out Blue Eyes. Oh. Blue Eyes White Dragon is going to hit the field, and he now is building up a nice board of a lot of monsters. And he has I've noticed that he now has 2 level 8s on the board, which is going to allow him to use those 2 level 8s to go for an XC summon. He goes for, I think this is called Full Armor Photon. I don't think this is Full Armor Photon. Which one is this called? Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon. He goes for Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon, which I was a bit bizarre. It's like, why would you summon this out right now? You can't attack. But I see now he's actually using it as another material to go into a rank 9 summon. And there is your Full Armor Photon Dragon. And Full Armor Photon Dragon comes to the field. Big 4000 attack daddy. Massive effect. And also has the ability to destroy a card on the field. But Lalio, you have more monsters than me. You can't use monster effects. And so, yeah. What I was actually afraid he was going to do here, but I don't think he realized it, is I thought he was going to try and find a way to get rid of Manju and then go to battle phase, or maybe not even bother going to battle phase, maybe just ending the turn there so that we both end on 1 monster, but he doesn't actually do that. So yeah, I think he could have probably played this turn a bit better. Maybe he didn't read Mystic Mine properly or something like that. Always read your cards, guys, and make sure you know what they're doing. And yeah, you can see that he's a bit stumped. He's like, oh, I can't attack, I can't use my monster effects. What am I gonna do? This card is broken. It's not fair. I'm not saying that's how he's really talking, but you know, that's my experience against people with Mystic Mine normally. So he just ends his turn and passes. I'm like, okay, cool. We draw into another Dogoron, so we may as well get rid of his Full Armor Photon and tribute over it. I'll be honest with you guys, dinosaur turns actually really go on this long. It is because a little bit because of Mystic Mine that it's gone on this long. Normally we will be a bit more impactful on turn 1, but at least we get a longer duel date today, so it's not ending in 1 single turn. Yeah, giving him Dogoron, not going to summon anything else out at the point, no real point, because once I do, I'm going to end up with more monsters than he does, and then Mystic Mine will be hitting me instead. So we are going to just pass and wait until we have a way to deal with Mystic Mine before we go on the offense. So over to Lelio's turn. I'm sure he's loving that I'm tributing over his monsters like this, because Kaiju's for the win. and he is going to turn there. He could really just attack into Soul Eating Oviraptor. In fact, I should have put a Raptor into defense so that he couldn't attack into it and reduce his monster count. But it seems like he doesn't realize it. So he's going to go to end phase and pass here. And now, on this turn, we are going to really make a play happen. So we drew into Lost World, and Lost World is going to replace Mystic Mine, and it's going to decrease the attack of all non-dinosaur monsters by 500. So Manju is now on 900 attack, and now we are ready to really make something happen here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to summon our Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and we're going to banish 2 dinosaurs in our graveyard, and summon it out to the field. It doesn't really matter too much what you banish. You ideally almost always want to banish Giant Rex, but if you don't have Giant Rex, then it doesn't really matter. I don't really like banishing Overtext sometimes though, because Overtext is a way to get your cards back from your banish pile, but we used it already, so you know it might as well go, it might as well be gone. So we summon out a token because we have Lost World on the field, so he gets a Drag Egg token. And now we're going to activate the effect of Soul Eating Oviraptor, its second effect, and that is we're going to destroy the token, but and to summon a card from our graveyard. But because Lost World is in play, we can choose to instead destroy a card from our deck instead. And so we're going to destroy Petit Pteranodon, which is going to summon a level 4 or higher monster from our deck to the field. And now we're going to go into our copy of Giant Rex. Giant Rex is going to come out in the field. Can't attack directly, which is fine, but it is 2000 attack. But really, I just wanted to summon this monster because of its level. It is a level 4 monster, and that means we can use it along with our Soul Eating Oviraptor to go into our extra deck, and we can use it to make an XC play. And we're going to summon a card which is going to help us try to win this turn and kind of finish it all up here. And the card we are going to go for, ideally, or you know, sometime today would be nice, Sean. Yep, cool. There it is. That's the one. There we go. Good boy. Yes. Alright, we're going to summon out number 60, I believe it is number 60. Dugares, the Timeless something. I can't remember what the whole name of this. It's just called Dugares the Timeless, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Number 60, Dugares the Timeless. Dugares the Timeless is busted. He's the ultimate game ender enabler. And what we're going to do today is we're going to detach 2 cards from it to the graveyard, and we're going to use one of his free effects. And the effect we're going to use is that we're going to skip our next battle phase, but in return we get to double the attack of one of our monsters. So we're going to make Conductor Tyranno shoot up from 3500 attack into 7000 attack. And if you remember from the deck profile, this bad boy can attack all of our opponent's monsters once per turn, every single time. So we're going to attack over Dogoron, that's going to do 4000 damage, and then we're going to attack into Manju, 6100 damage, and that's going to be game. And guys, so hopefully that's been a rough idea of what dinos do. They are very, very powerful, and they're very, very fun to play. And if you like monsters, decks with big monsters, this is definitely one to try. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And if you ever want to play me, add me to PSN at StandbyMain. Thank you guys as always for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care.